Discipline is one of the greatest gifts that we have. And discipline is not easy. It's not easy at all. Discipline definitely requires a lot of strength, a lot of self strength, a lot of being strong, a lot of being secure within ourselves. Discipline is the tool that is going to get us to the next level and where we want to be. I'm going to be honest. I feel like, truthfully, I'm at a place where it's like I've put in so much work, so much energy, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. I've put in so much work that I cannot go back. I cannot revert back to my old ways of being, my old ways of thinking, my old ways of feeling. I just cannot. And I know that what's going to help me maintain that drive and maintain the work is discipline. And it's not even that life is testing me or that life is putting out tests or throwing out tests. It's just that maybe in this moment of time, maybe in this season, I'm just still being dealt with old circumstances that no longer match or resonate with who I am. And it's like these experiences serve their purpose. I've learned the lessons. I'm on the journey of mastering them. I don't need to still be experiences these circumstances, but I still am. So it's like I'm just holding the discipline, maintaining the discipline of just like, you know what, do not revert back to your old ways. Do not shut down. Do not isolate. Do not hide. Do not let stress be the driver of your response. It's like, let me just, let me just really, let me just tap into being in a state of flow and not feel like I have to be in a state of stress. I don't have to try to figure everything out, but just trust the process. And for instance, in this, oh my god, like it's like whenever I'm talking on camera, I feel like I hesitate a lot because it's like I subconsciously know like, oh my god, I'm recording myself and I'm putting myself out there, and it's just like wanting to speak in a way where it's good, but then I'm hesitating and I'm doubting and I'm just second guessing myself, and it's just like, girl, just let it out. I'm trying to articulate and be articulative and, artsy at the same time, but it's just like, just let it flow. Okay. But discipline is just the most important thing that we need in order to get where we want to be. I feel like there's just going to be some circumstances where it may feel like not setback, but it may feel like there's resistance, and the only way to deal with what feels like resistance is through discipline. um I For me, for instance, like sometimes looking on social media and like I see people and like having like that support system, like having their friends, having a community that shows up and shows out for them, and I'm just like, damn, like why don't I have that? Why don't I have the connections that genuinely want to show up for me and be there with me? But it's like I'm doing so much work to work through these this mindset that, you know what, let me instill this discipline of, granted I may not have the ideal community, but it starts with showing up for myself, and it also continues by showing up and continuing to show up and not giving up on myself, whatever that may look like. And just because I may not have something today at this very moment doesn't mean that it can't appear tomorrow. It doesn't mean that it's not growing. It doesn't mean that it's not on its way. So I would be a fool to, be like, fuck everybody, like, fuck everyone, fuck everything. Let me just stay to myself. I mean, that's the only thing I can do is just stay to myself when, yeah, maybe I have been putting myself out there. Maybe I have been reaching out to people. Maybe it feels like I have been the one that's more invested in relationships, but I feel like that's just the now. Like, that's a season, that's not my entire story. So the discipline of, it keeps showing up, even though it may feel like no one is showing up for me, or it may feel like it's quiet, or it may feel lonely or whatever. It's keep showing up, keep putting myself out there, keep allowing myself to be open to connecting. And every single way counts, every single interaction counts. It's literally the stepping stone for the next thing. And even aside from that, just being in the present, honoring each interaction in the now is more than enough. So just whatever way it goes, just like honoring every single moment, because this is part of building that discipline. Because maybe today it may feel lonely, today it may feel like, why do I have to keep having this same story play out? But I'm not gonna revert back to my old ways. And this is where the discipline comes in, of like, okay, like, let me just stay consistent with, you know tapping into myself, and just not letting that hurt and that pain throw me off my path, and throw me off that path of, my people are there, my people are somewhere. Like, I don't know where they are, but my people are somewhere. And it's just, don't let those things throw me off my path. Don't let that feeling, and that story of feeling unheard or unseen or uncared for, don't let it throw me off my path. Because it's like, it's not healthy, it's not necessary anymore. That's not a story that's necessary. And granted, it may come up, and it may resonate at a certain moment of time, which is totally fine, but it doesn't have to be the driving factor of my life or my life story. So discipline, I feel like, is just so important. So many different things, it's just so important, everything we do. Discipline is just staying committed to ourselves. And discipline is just showing up every single day. Discipline is not about never making a mistake. Discipline is not about having to show up perfectly. Discipline is just being, and putting in that effort, putting in that work, putting in the energy, and just being committed to showing up for ourselves and honoring ourselves. And yeah, discipline is really just honoring ourselves, and knowing that it's important to show up. And it's not easy. If it was easy, life would be so much different. If it was easy, if it was easy, the world would be a different place. It would be a different place. But we are where we are right now because we are meant to learn and experience the things that we're learning and experiencing. And we all have our own lessons, we all have our own experiences, we all have our own perspectives, we have our own takeaways, and we relate to things in our own unique ways. And that's the beautiful thing about life. But that doesn't take away that we should also maintain that discipline within ourselves of showing up for ourselves in whatever aspect of our lives that means, or whatever way that looks like. Discipline could look like, you know what, I'm not gonna entertain that thought. Discipline can look like, you know what, let me just take a moment of silence for myself. Discipline can look like, let me just let that emotion pass through. Discipline can manifest in so many different ways, but the most important thing is that we are being disciplined, and we're disciplined with ourselves, and we just are committed to ourselves. And I feel like today may be showing one thing, but you don't know what tomorrow may bring. Tomorrow may bring a whole new blessing, and tomorrow may be the catalyst of a whole new life. But if you don't stay disciplined, you may not get to that tomorrow. So discipline is what we need. Discipline and the grace with time. Having grace, because with grace we allow the space, which is time. We allow things to progress in its natural sequence, instead of being like, oh damn, I was supposed to have mastered this by yesterday. let it play its course. It's gonna take time. It's gonna need the space in order for it to happen. Time and space. So it's like just allowing, uh, by having grace for ourselves, we allow the natural progression of time, the natural progression of what we're trying to master, and allow to come into fruition. But definitely don't give up on yourself. Never give up on yourself. Never, ever, 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 ever give up on yourself. Listen to your intuition. If your intuition is saying that you need to work on something, take it step by step. You are not going to have it mastered in even a year. But that's not the point. You can make so much fucking progress in a month. But it's not about, oh, it needs to be done and mastered in a month. No, and it's about learning the discipline, having the discipline to actually stay committed to something that you want to actually last a while. So if your intuition is saying that, hey, I need to work on this aspect of myself, take the time and just instill that discipline. And it's going to be that opposition, that resistance, all those things. And sometimes it's not even about a test. Sometimes it's just a choice. It's just a choice of how are you going to show up when you're met with this, even this imaginary adversary, being your own mind, your own thoughts, trying to bring you into a certain space of whatever that you're trying to deviate or get away from or try to evolve from. It's all about choice. What are you going to choose to do? You're going to choose to be disciplined? Or are you going to choose to not be disciplined? And that's not to say that you can't make mistakes, you can't have your moments, or that you can't like relapse. But I think that if you catch yourself, oh shoot, I'm starting to slip down this behavior pattern I'm trying to grow from, you always have the choice yet again to instill that discipline. But discipline manifests and shows in so many different ways, and it relates to us in so many different ways, and we can apply it to our lives in so many different ways. But yeah, discipline is so important and necessary. Never give up on yourself.